And welcome to our wrap of CTIA 2014. We're joined with Mohamad Nasser. He's the Director of M2M Practice at Sprint, and also on the panel is Fred Yentz. He's the CEO of ILS Technology. That's a Telit company. And gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Mohamad, I hope you don't mind if I call you Mo during the conversation. Is that okay?
Go for it.
All right, good. And Fred, thanks for joining us again. You were on a previous IoT panel, is that right, earlier this week?
Yep, it seems like a long time ago.
It does, it does.
Pretty busy week here.
Thanks for being here, both of you. It's pretty interesting, the synergy between service providers and operators right now. I want you to tell me more about that, but also tell me, Fred, and I'll start with you if you don't mind, about how you're trying to simplify delivery for people in companies like Sprint.
Well, I think everybody has always talked about the complexity of the value chain for delivering M2M solutions. And I'd say it legitimately has been one of the key inhibitors for real strong market growth, but it's getting better every day. As a matter of fact, Monday, Telit, we announced simplifying it on the low end with putting device-wise, we're at TIA now, but the TR50 APIs right in the Telit modules, which means millions and millions of modules will be ready to cloud connect. And then on the northbound side of this solution, away from the device, but in the customer's data center, we've got some enhanced services as well to make that easier. And I think that's what's really going to make it easier for carriers and operators like Sprint to be more successful in this space as they approach the market. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, as we go down this M2M path and we see all the growth happening, more and more the operators and service providers like us are finding that going up the the value chain is becoming more important for us to deliver solutions across multiple verticals and really be able to gain some of the revenues that comes from the application side. So we've always had a device management platform, and we've always had vertical solutions, and now the next step is to get into the service delivery platforms and develop either our own applications, custom built applications for more versatility and also more revenue for us.
So you're moving from being only a service provider, or at least being perceived as only a service provider, to being a solutions provider.
That's correct. I mean, that transition has to take place. Selling just devices does not really work anymore. Of course, on the consumer side, yes, but in the M2M business, you have to develop a solution, and it's multiple pieces that's all brought together, and your sales organization's got to also reflect all of that. So we are really transforming from being just a carrier into a solution provider, almost as a system integrator as well.
Mo, when you have these siloed verticals, and then you have new innovations and technologies and business cases like big data, like IoT and machine-to-machine, how do you realize the full value of those new technologies when those verticals are so siloed?
Well, that is part of the positioning why we're going with more service delivery platforms, because with these silos, you've got all the applications, but they're sitting out in the cloud, and the data that's sitting with them cannot really collaborate and work with other data across the other verticals. You put that service delivery platform, and now you're able to take from many verticals and start to monetize the data from these verticals.
Fred, a service delivery platform, correct me if I'm wrong, like device-wise, how does that set with an operator like, for example, like Sprint?
So, we take our solution to the market a couple of different ways. One thing that we know is carriers, service providers, mobile network operators, they need to, first and foremost, they got to make connections. I mean, they're getting really measured by, are you connecting things? So we want to make it quicker and easier for them to connect. That's kind of the traditional wholesale business for IoT and M2M. Then it's moving up, and Mo mentioned it, right? Kind of custom solutions. How do you create a toolbox where people can create solutions faster? In a service delivery platform, or what we call it, kind of an M2M application platform, gives you the ability to build solutions much, much, much quicker. Now, quick for a vertical implementation on a service platform is neat, but where you really start getting value is when you can start tying adjacent vertical applications together. For example, telematics. We instrument fleets, and that's a pretty mature use case for IoT. But that truck is rolling to go fix something. Now, if I'm a vertical application provider for telematics fleets, but now my customer has said, can you monitor the level of the tank that the truck is going to, it's usually a pretty big stretch for that telematics guy to say, oh, I have a tank solution, let me do that. That's a different vertical, as Mo said. Now we have this platform where we can let different things interoperate or connect to create better business decisions. And that's, I think, the sort of the transition from machine to machine to IoT is really thinking more about the consumerization of all this data, not from a vertical, but from multiple verticals. And the last point, Mo can finish this, but operating all these individual vertical apps, it's very hard to manage SLAs because you've got so many systems and so many pieces where when you start putting them on a platform, the management burden goes down, I think, for the operator as well.
It does. I mean, so again, M2M traditionally has been, very dependent on a lot of ecosystem partners, and we continue to be. I don't think anybody can do it all. So having these ecosystem partners and these vertical applications has been extremely helpful, but now taking it to the next level is really when you start to connect them all together. Now, Fred mentioned, the wholesale side, and he mentioned the custom solution side, which, service delivery platforms enable. It's kind of, nice because these are two legs of the three-legged stool that our strategy is based on. The third one is really the packaged solutions. So we've got the enablement part, which is in wholesale. We get everybody connected, from the connected car to the connected, cow. We've got connected cow as well. So we connect anything and everything, and then you got the special custom solutions that you use all these boxes and all these kind of connectivity, and you build applications on top of them, and then you've got packaged solutions. And those are the ones that are right off the shelf, and you can go and target the small to medium-sized businesses, for fleet management, for point of sale. Those are also essential and really part and parcel of our strategy today.
Fred, I know that Telit works with Sprint on a couple of fronts. As far as simplifying delivery, is there anything that Telit announced at this particular event?
Well, I think the big announcement was the APIs in the Telit module, which, we have thousands of customers at Telit that use our modules every day. So when we look at this is thousands of customers that are bringing solutions to market. And those solutions, it's our hope that many of them fall into that standard package product sale for you. It doesn't, just because it's a standard package product doesn't mean it shouldn't be built on a platform. It just has to be packaged so that the buyer behavior and the ease of selling it is such that you can get great scale.
And that's really part of why we did this, is you got to have these kind of three-legged stool, in a sense, to be successful at selling M2M. And one of the things that we as a carrier/system integrator and really M2M provider are seeing is, how are we taking our sales organization and sales professionals and really moving them from just selling boxes to selling solutions. And it's been a tough road, and everybody who wants to sell M2M has got to understand this. But if you make that transition, you will be able to be successful.
Like I was telling Fred earlier, we have a number of panels in this mobile studio over the last few days. And we've heard a consistent theme and tone from our panelists about their approach and their relationship with people at shows like this, and that relationship has changed. There's a more direct relationship. It's from maybe even the operator, even to the end customer, instead of everybody in between. And I know you said it takes a lot of hands on deck in order to get something done. But how has that relationship changed, as far as maybe between you, the integrator, and the end user?
Well, we're because it is still, M2M is still emerging, we got to have that cooperation, co-opetition, per se. Some of the things, and there's no real exclusivities that are really popping up. There are people really working together to achieve the goal of growing M2M business, and then ultimately there will be some slicing and dicing maybe that take place. But for the time being, growing this business really takes that village, that ecosystem that I talked about, and it's cooperation, it's co-opetition, whatever you want to call it, but it is essential.
Fred?
I think what's interesting is people look for thought leadership and folks to rationalize the business of M2M, right? Because you got to have a business case before you can go do this. And subject matter experts that know a vertical are very, very strong at articulating the value that can be delivered using this technology. right? So it's going to always be important to have subject matter experts in the mix. You know, we're a horizontal platform. Clearly, you know, Sprint is a horizontal communications platform as a company. You know, they might need partners that are experts in pharma and experts in farming and experts in oil, in upstream exploration, right? There's all these different use cases. So no one party, and really in this case no two parties, can do it all. It's going to be an ecosystem. We sat here with SAP at the beginning of the week. Clearly there's big IT application vendors and analytics, and we have to exploit the value of big data, right? There's a lot of distillation that has to happen to get the value out of that big data, and that's clearly not what we do. We help you collect that big data, and there's others at play.
Yeah, and it's really the enablement of big data, because having those vertical solutions is wonderful and great for the for our customers. But if you want to take advantage of analytics, you got to have that middle layer. You got to have that service delivery platform. Otherwise, it's all ones and zeros.
Mo, you're, as I said at the top of the program, you're the director of M2M practice at Sprint. I think TI now will be talking to you quite a bit, or we would like to talk to you quite a bit about how that matures and evolves over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And Fred, you were on our first panel, the IoT panel, and you're closing out our coverage of CTIA 2014 here on this short segment, so we appreciate your time as well.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I'll tell you what, the reality curve is fast approaching the hype curve. We're seeing a lot of action. It's an exciting time for IoT, and I think you'll see a lot more of Mo and Sprint and ILS and others that are in this space on your program.
Well, we
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
your time. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.